Welcome to FootGolfos. Now we have sound, but we don't have Piero here yet. I've been talking for a little bit. You have been seeing me talking, and I brought a ball. So it was all a trick. So you guys wonder, what the are you doing, Mariano? Well, today we're going to talk about balls. It's been a crazy, long day at work and a long, crazy day to produce the show because why? We have a lot of amazing things for you guys today. And what better way to start the day off but introducing my good friend and partner in crime, Mr. Piero Menor. Welcome.
What's up, familia? What's up, Mariano? How are you? Our balls are bigger. We always say that compared to golf. And today we're going to show you how big our balls are, how expensive, and what's the future of balls in foot golf, because now we're playing with these balls. What's going to happen in 10, 20 years, I think the sport should look about the future and see what's going to happen. But for now, the reality is these are the balls that we're using, and we're going to tell you everything about it. Believe me.
Hold on. Hold on, Piero. Let me make a remark right there. Everything that we know, because remember, we know nothing. Like foot golf, we're just learning, we're just working to promote the sport, but we don't know the truth, we don't own the truth. So if there's anything that we say during this presentation about balls, if there's any brand that we left out, we don't want to feel that we're saying something that it shouldn't be. So if we're saying anything that doesn't belong, just let us know. If we're saying anything completely wrong, just let us know. Why? Because we're not the owners of the truth, and we can make mistakes, right?
Correct. Hopefully we don't make any during the show, but yes, guys, this is an open show. Everybody is welcome to let us know what you think. We're going to be talking about different types of balls today, and everybody probably has their own theories about balls. So this is a good forum, so everybody share their views, and we all have more knowledge about balls, which is, I think, very important for you to know about balls if you want to become a great foot golfer like you probably are. Mariano, before we continue, I want to say something
Go ahead.
about our previous show about women foot golf. It was a success. I think we never had so much views.
No.
We were over 5,000 this morning. We passed the 5,000 view mark, which is the first show that we actually go so viral in our own viral world.
Quote unquote, foot golf viral. If anything goes beyond 3-digit number views, that's viral in Foot Golf Live. So 5,000 views of a live show that lasts an hour and a half. This is not going to be a different one. This most likely is going to last until midnight, but hang in there. There's a lot of important things to be covered. So we're very thankful for Joe for taking part, and for everybody that took part, and for those who didn't as well. So why don't we go ahead, Piero, and get started with the show?
Yes, well, Mariano, first of all, as we always say, we always try to give you a little giveaway, since you guys help us a lot by sharing the show. You are in the run to win this hat from FootGolfos from View, Mexico. Really the best brand in foot golf. If you want to do something with uniforms or anything, these guys are really good. They're in Mexico. And as we always say, guys, these things are ours. We usually carry the shipment and everything. So we're going to, whoever wins this, we're going to ask you to be a little patient, and we'll make sure you guys get this as soon as possible. But we're happy that Leticia, for example, she got the goal hole.
Yeah.
And Joe is going to send that to Sean Rontre, who won the chip. So, guys, we're always trying to give you little gifts, so you guys help us share the show. But if you want to share it just without any gift asking, that's also nice from you to share the show anyways.
Yeah, and one last thing. We do this out of our hearts to promote the sport. We do this in our own time. We have no retribution other than the likes, loves, comments, and shares and follows that you guys give us. So we're hungry for those. We're very hungry for followers, likes, comments, shares. That's going to help the sport overall go up in numbers happen be up on many people world that are not maybe from the foot golf world or industry. So please share this program in as many pages as you want and as you can. Of course, they don't need to be foot golf. We need to spread the word out that this is the show to entertain people that like foot golf, right? So with that said, let's get started. So talking about balls, Piero, there was a Brazilian, I gotta say, that he's
watching the show. The guy we're talking about is watching the show right now.
This guy is watching the show? This is amazing. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. We're global, but a small family. This guy brought the Jabulani, not the Jabulani, let's make that clear, the Jabulani with an O, not an A. He brought it back to the football, not foot golf, football courses, as you can see. But we'll talk about that in a little bit more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We'll talk about that later. We'll show what this is. But let's go with some important announcements from the FIFG. The FIFG have just announced that after evaluating all country responses and feedback, they decided to postpone the continuation of the World Tour until July 1st. So I think it's a very good move from the FIFG just to make sure that everybody is, in the same page, knowing that they'll make a communication later in the year. And I think it's totally understandable given that the situation have not changed whatsoever.
Totally. Step by step,
yeah,
Mariano.
Little by little.
And little by little. But thankfully, fortunately, there is a lot of countries where foot golf is already back. Thanks to everybody who sent us their pictures in their first day back the course. We got pictures from all over the world. We're just gonna show some because we got everything ready yesterday. But guys in Slovakia sent us today, Malaysia, France, Italy, in the UK, Gatwick Foot Golf, one of my favorite courses, is back as well. So we're so happy to see everybody back. Also Norway, it's back, and
Canada.
Yes.
And Canada is back, but Canada is back with some specific messages. They have foot golf safety. So they have an actual manual for safety. They give you the instructions.
Yes, I think this is happening, Mariano, all over the world. Most of the federations are trying to make sure everybody knows the rules because, as we always say, foot golfers are always more looked than golfers or anybody else. If we are like strangers in their course, we have to behave always even better than golfers. So I think it's very important that we follow in this time and we give example to everybody how golfers should behave. And in Canada, these are some of the rules. I think they are pretty similar all over the world, Mariano. Trying not to touch the ball, grab the ball with your feet. Try to do just small groups. Mm-hmm. Try to get the scores online so people is not touching
they're not writing
pencils,
the paper.
Like that. So I think it's good. We follow rules as we said, and we will be fine. In the UK, they did something very similar, Mariano, with another safety instructions, and we're happy to see Ben Clark back to the course.
Ben is back.
Yes,
I was hoping for UK to push it a little bit more so his level dropped down more, but I guess he's back in action. So. Damn it.
Back, yes, and Mariano, this is something I just saw on the internet. I think there is a tournament announced in the UK for mid-June, something like that. I saw that like a couple of hours ago. So I'm happy tournaments are already being created.
That's awesome.
Something that it's happening also in Portugal. We're going to talk about Portugal in a minute. But before, Mariano, we're going to travel to one of the countries that I think were more damaged by coronavirus, and that's Italy. Italy. It's back to foot golf, happily, and we have a video from the world champion brother, Julito Perrone.
Let's check it out.
Who was playing, he was playing in Asolo Golf Club, the home of the Italian Major, I believe, 2017, and he made a little video for us in their return to the golf greens.
We are here in Asolo Golf Club. We are ready for practice Thank you also for Fútbol Treviso that organized this Saturday practice. So, ya se juega.
That's a tee off quite to the left. I love how the Italians are all playing with just different jerseys from different countries, but Italy. I love their patriotism. Especially Flavio Brescacin using that beautiful USA jersey. I gotta say, man, that is one of my favorite polos from the World Cup, and it was our own.
Is it yours? Did you swap it with him? It wasn't yours, no?
I don't think I didn't swap with anything with anybody. The only person besides myself that has US polos, it's you. You're the only player that I gave my World Cup. He gave me the first one when he played in 2016 in the World Cup in Argentina. It's nowhere to be found, but I know he gave it to me. But it was it's a historic polo, and I wanted to give that back. But I'm very happy that Italy is back on track after having such a hard time. The next one we should be looking at is Spain. I know that the FootGolf courses are opening back again, right? Too.
In some places, like for example Madrid and Barcelona, are still in the zero phase.
Yeah.
So the golf clubs are still closed. But I know in the south and also in Calatayud, for example, people are already playing in Spain. So happy to see them back, and hopefully they can rearrange the calendar of the tournaments they were planned for this year, because we still haven't seen anything. As an opposite to Portugal, where they already announced the new dates for the rest of the season, which is amazing. Hopefully they can do everything the way they plan. But yes, Portugal already announced. I think it's the first country that rearranged everything.
Every schedule, yeah. At least to our knowledge, at least to our knowledge, Portugal is the only country which actually released a set schedule. So congratulations to Ricardo Esteves, who is the new president of Portugal FootGolf. So amazing job. We know Portugal, it's a smaller country, so easier to control maybe. So we're very happy. Portugal is one of the places that in my mind I have to visit within the next year or so. But Piero, you know, before we get to all this ball conversation and whatnot, you might be wondering which FootGolf ball would celebrity use? That's a question that I always ask myself. If a celebrity would play FootGolf, what kind of ball would they use? Well, in this case,
depending what celebrity.
Exactly, depending on what celebrity. So in this case, we match up two very important people in the world. One being a bad guy, one being the good guy. So we put together a little matchup. Just check it out.
Welcome to a new edition of Celebrity World Cup. We are on the last day of competition, which led us to a final playoff to decide who will be the next FootGolfos Celebrity World Champion. Let's meet our final contenders.
From the political conference, after playing a very conservative FootGolf, Donald Trump claims his way to the final after beating some of the tournament top-seeded players. Now let's meet the other finalists.
From the cartel conference, our very own Chapo Guzman sneaked into the final like he was escaping from a maximum security prison. As easy as it gets. And now let's go to the course for the final play. Back to you, Tony.
It's all about this hole. Whoever wins takes the championship.
Quiet, please.
Donald Trump playing left. Surprising.
I'm voting for him.
Oh, it's on the green.
Great shot by Donald Trump. People love it. Quiet, please. Turn out for Guzman. Watch out.
I'm afraid that's going to the water.
Unlucky. Penalty shot.
Chapo must score to stay alive.
Bravo. Let me tell you, people love it. Is that champagne? Don't afford birdie to win?
Republican shot?
You mean conservative?
Of course.
So I guess this is not over yet.
If you want to watch the final hole, stay tuned to FootGolfos. See you next time!
And that was the first part of the matchup. Our beloved president playing with a Tor fabric. He knows what he's doing. But I was shocked. A conservative shot there. He had a putt, 3-meter putt. He was right there. He plays safe. That's right. I was just a tiny bit little short. But we'll see what happened in the second half of this matchup. I'm confident that USA will prevail and be number one at the end. Piero, are you ready to go?
Mariano.
Are you ready to go on this trip? Are you guys ready? Okay, buckle up. Buckle up. Sorry. I got excited.
I am more than ready, but before that, Mariano, let's hi to the people watching because we have right now 109 people watching live our show. And let me say hi to some of them. Mert Leven, who just joined in, Frank Hernandez, Seb, Jorge Barragan, Harry Gil, Edu Vice, Niklas Nieberg, Anderson Borges de Brasil, Frank Hernandez, te lo dije, Kevin Sang, Ian O'Donnell, Leo Diceo, Damian Dirdrol, Frank Hernandez, Nick Richardson, Magnus Nordi, Kevin Gray, Julián Llana Tiempo, Andrew Duffy, Sean Rontre, Edu Vice, Matthew Morgan, José Antonio López Alonso, Leandro Salaberry, Danny from Talavera, Sean Lindsay in the UK, Hayato Kobayashi, Hayato, and Japan, Fernando Lago in the south. You know, I always get too excited with this, so I better stop. Ivan Bermejo is my last one, and James Berry.
Okay, stop.
In What's up, guys? Hello, everybody. 15 people left when I was speaking. Sorry for that, guys.
So you dropped, since you started saying hi to people, actually people start dropping. That's amazing. That's something only that foot golfers do. But okay, Piero, let's get it started. And if we're gonna start, let's start the proper way. Why don't you get it off while I make hopefully this works. We're gonna publish a poll for the very first time, and we want to see what you guys think. Okay, so take it up, Piero.
Let me see. Graphic is out, so people can actually vote in Facebook, right?
That's the idea. I'm doing that. So right now they should be. So what is the idea here, Piero?
Okay, guys, we're gonna discuss the idea, which is always a recurrent conversation in foot golf, and that's about the use of a unique ball in the sport. We know this is a very, very tense topic since some people agree with that, some others think that everybody should bring their own ball. But since balls are getting so expensive and it's kind of hard to find a ball for a decent price for new players, some other people say that the sport should focus on have a unique ball so everybody has their same chances to win. We want to hear about your opinion. Do you think foot golf should look for a unique ball, unique model, and everybody should play with the same ball? That's going to be there for the whole show, so please vote and let us know what you think.
And the other thing, Piero,
Mariano,
and the other thing that I wanted to mention is that we're doing in Instagram, we're doing a competition to see which one is the best or favorite foot golf ball. So I don't know if you can see it here, but in our Instagram account, we're doing the matchup. Just vote for one or the other. We're doing the matchup here.
Quarterfinals. We're starting quarterfinals.
We're just starting quarterfinals. The Spitzel against the Addy Pure. I don't know if you guys can see it, but go to Instagram at FootGolfos and start voting right now to make your ball be the favorite foot golfer ball. All right, Pierre.
All right.
Let's get started.
Okay, guys.
Let's
start with the history of foot golf balls. And if we have to speak about history, we have to go to the first ever World Cup of foot golf in Hungary. That was in 2012. And what happened in this World Cup? That everybody was playing with the same ball. I don't know if we're watching that already, Mariano, but that's the ball, and that's the course. That was Hungary, and that was the beginning of the sport. And they thought the best idea was to have a unique ball, probably from a sponsor. We don't know that. I don't know if Gabor is watching this, and he can tell us a little bit about what ball was that and how did they come up with that ball. But yes, Mariano, that happened in 2012.
So
everybody
unique
played
ball,
with the first ball, no Spitzels,
no Spitzel, no
no
nothing.
Jabulanis.
But
Everybody.
but okay. So I'm starting to see in the poll that it's, as of right now, it's leaning more towards the no. Let's make a pause here for a second, and let's say in defense of the yes answer, in my opinion, again, guys, let me say, I say yes to a unique ball, but having two Spitzels, okay? I have like a house worth of balls right here. If I would live in Argentina, there's like, these balls are worth like $1,000,000 pesos. But okay, let's say you're starting foot golf and you play your first round with a whatever ball, and you say like, this is great. I love this sport. I want to compete. And you're from a mid to lower class. You're not somebody that is very wealthy. It's not somebody that, has an amazing job and can say, okay, I want to compete. I have to spend how much money to start competing? So let's stop there for a moment. $300, $400, $500 balls are going right now on eBay. That's insane. Supply and demand grew so much since I started playing foot golf. I remember that with Piero, we bought, for the very first time, we bought a Jabulani MLS in October 2015. We paid for each one of them $180. I honestly, at that point, felt like I was being ripped off. I felt like I was completely ripped off. I'm like, I'm paying $180 for a soccer ball. I'm insane. Of course, give it a few years later, I paid $300 for one. So yes, I grew more insane. It's not that I grew more insane. The prices are ridiculous. And why is that? Because the supplies of the balls are very limited. We're talking about an already 10 to 14-year-old ball. The range of foot golf balls go from 2006 to 2012. All right? So have that in mind. It's not even 10 years worth of football balls. What's going to happen? Are we going to fabricate them again? We'll see. But Piero, who was...
Yes.
I want to say, who was the culpable? Because that's how I have to say it. No, it's not selfish. Because who was the... If somebody's watching and knows Spanish, who was the culpable of bringing the Spitzel to the game? Who was the one and only reason why the Spitzel came to foot golf? Let's say it that way.
Yes, well, Mariano, there is a lot of legends about this. We think we found the truth, and all the people we spoke with, all the information led us to Argentina. Argentinians were the first. So we didn't travel to Argentina, but we spoke to Argentina, and we found out that one guy called Iñaco González Górgolas, who is from Buenos Aires, he played already 3 World Cups, Argentina, Marrakesh, and he was in the original one in Hungary. And apparently he was the first guy to bring a Spitzel into a foot golf tournament. We contact him, and this is his amazing story.
Hi Piero, hi Mariana, how are you? The Spitzel. It was summer 2010 to 2011. I was in a shopping. Adidas was launching his brand new ball. It was the Spitzel, and it was a big wall with something like 500 Spitzel over there, and I bought the Spitzel. I paid $22 to $25. The first tournament I ever played with a Spitzel was in 2011. I was the only one that's playing here in Argentina with this Spitzel. And between 2011 to 2013, almost everybody here in Argentina was playing with the Spitzel. We traveled to the Capital Cup, the first one, 2014. We were maybe 12, 14 Argentines, everybody with his own Spitzel. And in Europe, I think that Jaco has a Terra Pass and Julian Kenkel has a Angola, but nobody else was playing with Spitzel. When we returned to Europe in 2015, we went to the French Open and the Capital Cup, and it was like 50% of players already was playing with a Spitzel. And in Argentinian World Cup in 2016, maybe everybody was playing with some kind of Spitzel of Jabulani or Torfabrik or Europa League. So thank you, see you.
All right, that was Ñaco Gárgolas, Ñaco Fernandez. I never know how to say his last name. Fernandez Gárgolas, Ñaco Gárgola. I don't know. So Ñaco, you are the one and only person who started this spike of insanity. But you know, he was the actual first one to bring it to Argentina, and then he probably started winning so many yards that all the Argentinians started to play with that ball. But what happened when the Argentinians traveled to Europe, Piero? What happened then?
Yes, that's what Niaco was saying, no? That he arrived to the Capital Cup, and then all the Argentinians, they bought these cheap Spitzos for $25 each. They traveled to this tournament, the Capital Cup, the first one in 2014, and they were killing everybody with the distance, but they didn't win. The Spitzel didn't win that tournament. There was a ball who was superior to the Spitzel, at least in that tournament, and that ball was the one used by the champion of that first Capital Cup, Björn Bulk, who is watching this show. I got the chance to talk to him these days about his ball in that tournament, and that ball is called Derby Star. That's the ball he was using in that tournament. I think that was the Eredivisie ball for that time, and he told me he loved that ball. He said it was way more controllable than the Spitzel. The only thing is obviously the distance. But that was the ball he used. I talked to him, as I said, it has
to be a good ball, because even just for a soccer ball, football ball, it's 107 euros. That's pretty pricey for just a regular average.
I think it's probably because it's a retro ball, you know, they probably don't have that many. And
I was surprised just by seeing the price here on the photo that we have, but yeah. Björn Borg was a pioneer. He actually sent you a video, so why do I even have to explain? Let's hear him out.
Hi, FootGolfers. Piero asked me to tell something about this ball. It's the Derby Star, and I play with it in the first Capital Cup, and I won it. What's the reason I don't play with it anymore? That's because you don't make the distance of the Spitzel, but for me it's still the most accurate ball, and I think a lot of Dutch players who played with it in the beginning of FootGolf, they think the same about it. So Derby Star is a very good ball, but on short greens and short holes. See you.
And that was Björn Borg for you, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta say, he was one of the first foot golfers that was impressed by on his style of playing, and we gotta say, if he plays like that, we at least must listen to him.
Bulk is a great guy. He's going through a little health issue, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be back on the greens where he never should leave, because he's one of the best players that I met, and I'm pretty sure he will be playing foot golf again after overcoming these health problems. So thanks for your video, and thanks for the stories, Mariano, because he told me some stories about the organization that he used to play for. It was another European foot golf organization. It was called the EFGF. It's already extinct, doesn't exist anymore. But these guys, they tried to do that, to force all the players to play with the same ball, which was actually very similar to the one we just saw, to the Derby Star. And that brought some issues to this organization, because some players didn't agree with everybody playing with the same ball. But I guess they wanted to make it fair for everybody and see who was the best with that ball. So that was done. It didn't work. So that's why we bring back the debate, because we think it's interesting. Again,
and
do you think?
Let's think this way, Piero. Let's put it into perspective, because we always I heard this many times, like older foot golfers and the players that love to play with Spitzels and whatnot. They always say the same. In golf, you can choose your clubs, you can choose your balls. that's completely understandable. We're talking about a hundreds-year-old industry where there are multiple manufacturers just for golf, for balls, and for clubs. How many manufacturers do we have for foot golf? Okay. How many manufacturers do we have for foot golf shoes or foot golf balls or even clothing? How many only foot golf clothing are in the world? Hands?
Many.
We can count it with the hands. Okay, so going back to the one unique ball, let's put it in perspective. La Liga, the Premier League, the MLS, do they all play with whatever ball they want? Each club plays with whatever ball they want? No. What happened? There's a contract with each association. There's a contract. And of course, my hope, my dream would be for a brand like Adidas or Nike or Puma or whatever brand to approach the FIFG and to tell them, you know what, guys? I'm going to put X amount of money for our balls to be only for foot golf tournaments. What can the FIFG do with that money? All the things that they cannot do right now without money. So that's what I'm saying. Like, just by letting everybody play with whatever ball they want and they can buy, you're just canceling out the idea of a brand approaching you.
I think Mariano here, I don't agree with you. I agree with the fact that yes, if a brand comes to the sport, everybody would be very happy to play the whole world tour with a brand if you get any type of advantage. You know, the FIFG tournaments have a biggest cash purse. If the sport grows, nobody's gonna be against that. But I think it's also very special that you get to pick your own ball. I think that also makes the sport special. I love what Nick just said here. Like, we all want to avoid the high prices of Spitzel Jabulani. Mm-hmm. Why don't we focus or like strict the balls that are able to play foot golf from, let's say, 10 years or 5 years to now? Everybody can pick a ball, but after 5 years older, those balls, they are not anymore. So everybody will go to balls that are in the market and maybe the price, I don't know. That's an idea to avoid that high price.
I'm on board with your suggestion, and here's why I'm on board with that. You're talking about 5 to 10. Okay, if you're looking to 10, you're looking into taking out the Terra Pass, the Euro Pass, the Team Heist. Those balls would be gone. Yes. So these balls are already more than 10 years old. I'm with you. 5 years ago, we can find the Brazuca, the new Tesla. We can find many balls that are amazing. I read some research papers that NASA did and some physicians did on the amount of panels that the ball has, how they're bonded, the physics of the dragging, the airflow, and a lot. I can cover that a little bit more. So I know my part. So what I'm saying is, yes, Nick has the total truth in this. Bring those prices down, because the best ball that you see in the Bundesliga right now, you can go and buy it for $160, and that's fine. Because why? Put it into perspective and comparison with another sport. In tennis, you're watching Rafael Nadal or you're watching Djokovic play, and you can go to a store and buy that racket. You can play with the same exact racket that the professional players are playing for an accessible price. Right now, foot golf is not like that. Professional players, just like Ben, Mati, Nico, you, or Jordan, if I see Jordan, if I see him kicking the ball, or you or Antonio Balestra smacking the shit out of the ball and rolling forever, I'm like, whoa, I want to be like them. And then you look into those balls and it costs $300, $500. You're like, whoa, maybe this sport is not for me just yet. But on the other hand, maybe there has to be, I don't know, there has to be a transition. This is something that must to be looked in at a point. At a point. Totally. We're just, again, throwing ideas out there. We're not stating the truth. We're not saying that we know the truth or have the answers. It's just personal opinions. And of course, we can despair in between Pierre and myself, and that's totally fine. But the good thing is that we're allowed to speak, and that's the good thing. So you were saying Nick, right?
Yes,
Nick is a legend of the sport, and there's so many reasons why.
Yes, and it's funny because Nick, he always say, I'm the guy who brought the Spitzel in the UK with his tough boys. I'm the one, Fox Hikes. But we wanted to know why, how come you were the first guy to bring the Spitzel in the UK. So Nick very gently recorded a little video explaining why he's the guy who brought for the first time a Spitzel into the United Kingdom. Check it out.
Today we're here to speak about balls. So when I started playing FootGolf in 2013, I used to use a replica bazooka. It wasn't, I found about these balls until 2014 when I was crowned UK champion, the first ever UK champion. I went to River Ridge, California, USA, and I see loads of Argentinians playing with these style of balls. Not these balls, they was using the Argentina balls and the normal speed cells, like Christian Otero, Matias Perón, and I was playing with an Argentinian in my group and I was hitting this ball as hard as I could, and he was effortlessly going 20, 30 yards past my ball every time. And so afterwards I spoke to Alex Koba, a well-renowned ball collector, and I got hold of one of these.
Que leer comentarios,
I started playing it in the UK. So yeah, I bought these balls to the UK, so I'm the reason we're spending loads of money on balls now.
That was Nick Fierro, Nick Iron, with the truth about what happened. He basically came to the US and got his ass whooped.
He did. I think the Argentinians destroyed everybody else in that tournament because of their FootGolf skill, obviously, but also because they all had these crazy Spitzels and they were like rolling and rolling. And, like I imagine Nick that he was like destroying probably people in the UK. And then suddenly a 40-year-old Argentinian was like reaching more than him. And, that's
But
probably...
let's be honest. He started a trend because now everybody in Europe plays with the Jabulani. Either it's a white one. Right now we're just looking at the classic Jabulani, and everybody in Europe loves that ball. It's the ball of the current world champion. Everybody at the beginning was crazy about the Spitzel, but all of a sudden everything shifted to the Jabulani. Nobody won. Like after Christian Otero retired, I think Antonio Balestra is the only player to win with an actual Spitzel a tournament. Of course, we have to check that. I'm just playing it out from the top of my head, but again, thank you, Nick Iron, for bringing the Jabulani into the Europeans' life. It's here to stay, and of course, we want to thank everybody who shared their photo with us, and hopefully, I wish we could tag everybody that just was on the show today.
That was the idea at the beginning, Mariano, but since we got so many pictures and we have to add the name and the country, we said, okay, we're just going to show your picture, watch the show, and enjoy your 3 seconds of playing. Because it was hard to edit all the pictures, but thank you
yes,
for collaborating with us.
We weren't expecting such a big response on the comments. I think we never got on a week so many comments in our posting, so we're very grateful for that. But Piero, when we started, we were obsessed with these balls, and we made reviews. You remember back in the day when we made reviews when I had no hair in my face and I was very young? So why don't we go and take a look at the Jabulani review made by ourselves 4 years ago.
Some people say our balls are bigger. Well, they're right! I mean, look at this one. Today we talk about the Jabulani.
It is probably the most hated ball in football history, but to us, it's poetry. The Jabulani is one of a kind. The ugly duckling became a swan when it met our fellow FootGolfers. It is the second most popular ball in the sport, after the famous Spitzel, the ball created for the 2011 Women's World Cup. The Jabulani was designed to have better aerodynamics than any other ball ever invented, and we can guarantee you that. If you hit it in the right spot, it flies. When it lands on the fairway, it will roll for some extra yards. On the green, you have to be very precise because it's super fast. If you hit it harder, then you should say goodbye to your par. Now let's see what some other players have to say about it.
My ball of choice is the Jabulani.
My ball of choice is the Jabulani.
I like it so much that I got another.
I feel like I can kick it harder and I have more control over it.
But one of the things I really enjoy playing with this ball is the distance you can get with playing with a little wind behind.
It's very similar to the Adidas Speed Cell, except for I just find it to be more predictable.
And I also like the way it plays in windy and rainy conditions.
It doesn't carry a lot of spin. Good for street shooters.
On top of all that, it's made for men. You know, the Adidas Speed Cell is made for women to strike. Jabulani, this one's intended for a men's boot, so I'm gonna stick with it.
And it's also the perfect ball to win you the World Cup. To win you the World Cup.
And that was the infamous ball review Jabulani back in the day. Have in mind that we did this right away after the 2016 Argentina team competition World Cup finished and Team USA have won, and we got some of their characters, the one and only, the Prince of FootGolf, Sharif Khatib, bragging on how he won with that orange jab, and legends of the sport.
Yeah, I love Vinny saying that the Jabulani is for men and the Spitzel is for women. That's one of the many theories that I have heard about the Jabulani and the Spitzel. Some of them say, for example, one of the legends of the theories is that the Jabulani and the Spitzel is the same ball.
It's the same.
Everything
is the same.
We're gonna prove that later on the show, but some people think they're different balls, but apparently they're not. They're the same.
Some might think, some might think that it's not the same, but instead of talking about theories, let's talk about facts. Okay? So for those of you who are a little bit in engineering, I was speaking today to some of the guys from FootGolf Scotland, most precisely Ali Dick. He's studying engineering right now, mechanical engineering. And funny enough, we actually looked at the same research paper that we're looking right now. This is a figure of what is the drag of a ball. They studied 4 different balls. They studied the Europass, or Team Guys, however you want to call it. They studied the Jabulani, the Kafusa, and the Brazuca. Okay? So we're talking about 4 balls, 2 that are not very likely to be in the FootGolf world, but 2 that are really into it. And what was the discovery behind all this analysis? They put the balls into machines flowing with air, mechanically kicking the ball to see how the ball reacted and how the air reacted. So the figure that you're seeing next to me, you can see in the one on the very far right, that's the graphic for the Jabulani. So you can see it's the only ball that stays up on that curve and actually has a little of crescendo moment and then it drops. So what exactly does it mean? Okay, think of it this way. Think that you have the wind going in this direction. Let's bring the ball for this one real quick. So if the ball goes towards this direction, there's 2 factors that are affecting. First, gravity, and second, air. Air going back at the ball. So if the ball is going this direction, you're going to have wind crossing and then the gravity pushing it down. So you can see in the graphic, the ball stands in the air. And you know that wobble that the Jabulanis or Spitzels make and no other ball in the world do? I know exactly why is that. And here's the reason why. The texture, the material of the actual panels, and the number of panels. For those who don't know, here's a technical aspect of it. Our average FootGolf ball has either 8 panels being the Jabulani or Spitzel and 14 panels being the Team Heist or the Europa Pass. An average soccer ball, football ball, it's regularly 32 panels. That's your average stitched with a ball in there. So as the ball travels, the Jabulanis and the Spitzels, they create an unnatural pattern behind it, therefore creating a force that doesn't know where to go. It creates a natural flow. Every ball that you see, you can see that the air flows through it, but the Jabulani and the Spitzel actually gets like a turbulence behind it. and that height gives more drag. What it means more drag? It means more time in the air, larger bounce, longer roll, because this ball has much more power, let's say, against the winds and against the drag than any other ball. All the other balls are more similar to what a golf ball would be. So it's funny that we're all playing with these ones, because the conclusion of the study was that all of the balls that we studied, but the Jabulanis, are similar to what a golf ball would react to. So again, why does it fly so long? Because when you kick it, it doesn't fight so much with the air. It creates an extra momentum when it kicks out of your feet. Therefore, it's gonna go further, roll longer, and it's the same for the putting, because you're putting, yeah, you don't have much gravity, but you're going against the friction of the grass and the airflow as well. So, did it sink in? Did it sink in, or was it too technical to talk about?
It was a little too technical, but I got it. I got a little bit about why it's different.
So
it's funny, Mariano, because I always talk about this. I think we talk with Matti, like when we play, for example, here in Miami, or I play in Cancun, places where it's very, very humid, the Jabulani or the Spitzel have a different behavior. I love to kick it against, for example, the air. The ball rolls really high. And then, for example, in the other hand, I play in Magnolia Park, which the weather was way different.
And colder.
And I felt the ball doing different things when you hit it. So I think it's very interesting how the atmosphere affects the Jabulani.
There's an actual fact to it. There's two things, temperature and humidity. So if it's a dry and cold weather, you're gonna feel the ball that it's really hard, because the actual materials contract. So therefore, your ball the air might want to expand. So you might, if you play in a dry area or a very hot weather, you might see that your ball air actually increases during your round. You might start with an 8.5. You check again, you might look that at the end of your round, if you play like in a place like here in Orlando with the heat and the humidity, the ball is going to expand. So you're going to have more tension at the end of your round. So that's another thing to have in consideration. So again, in cold weather, I think that the Jabulanis and Spitzels might not have so much of an advantage rather than here in a warmer weather.
Definitely, Mariano. And moving on a little bit, I think it's funny how the Jabulani, it's a little different to the Jabulani. I got a Jabulani with me.
Yeah.
It's not as common as the Jabulani, obviously, because this ball was made for the final that Spain won against the Netherlands. It's funny.
It's Andres Iniesta's favorite ball. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, and it's funny how most of the FootGolf balls were very good in Spanish history. You know, like
in your history, because I know you love the Europa League for a specific reason too, but.
Yes, but look, Mariano, I want to show this. I found that this ball, the Jabulani, it gets like this bubble very easy. It happened to me, and it happens to some other players. I don't know if this thing they put with this color it affects the ball somehow, but I don't know if I'm the only one that gets little bumps in this ball, which is the only ball that ever happened to me, the Jabulani.
That's weird.
But yes, it's, as we said, it's popular. Some top players use it, like Darren Carusas, Nick Wallace. We saw playing with this ball Alejandro Nuño from Oakland as well. And Darren Carusas, who is a good friend of ours, one of the best seniors in the world, he sent us a video explaining why he likes the Jabulani in comparison with the Jabulani. This is Darren Carusas. Check it out.
FootGolfos and FootGolf. Jabulani, very rare ball and aesthetically pleasing. It's like when it comes off the foot, it's like an old pair of boots or an old pair of jeans. It feels really good, have good control on it, and it gets that roll you need. Love to putt with this, and this is the ball I prefer to play with. I've had a lot of success, so get out and practice and get out and play.
That was Darren Carusas. One day, I swear to God, we're gonna make a perfect show with no those little glitches in between transitions. It's so freaking hard to like moderate, conduct, whatever you want to say. Like, I just want to sit behind a technical computer and just be punching buttons, and you with Mati speaking in Spanish about a show, whatever. But anyways, thank you, Darren, for that. But I remember at the beginning of the show, Pierre, we were saying that we brought a Brazilian guy brought back the Jabulani to the football pitches.
Football, Mariano. When I saw this video, I was so impressed. And then I talked to the guy and I was like, hey, Anderson, we need to show that video in FootGolfos. I don't think many people have seen this.
No,
I haven't. Let me tell you a little bit about the story. This is a Brazilian guy who played the World Cup in Marrakesh. His name is Anderson, great guy. He contacted his favorite team, which is Corinthians. And somehow he got a deal with them that he was going to represent Corinthians. But anyways, what they did is in the halftime of one of their games with, 60,000 people in the stands, they stopped the game while it was halftime. And they let Anderson kick a ball with the Jabulani to the goal, announcing him as a football player.
Let me bring it up. Here we go.
Vamos.
Wow, and that's a World Cup stadium actually. Let's hear it to the crowd. That's impressive. I gotta say, if I can see myself with the Jabulani going like to the side, going into River Stadium in Monumental, and we have here Mariano Copello, a River playing FootGolf professional. Thank you, and you out of bounds. Very impressive. Congratulations. Amazing.
No, and this is a very interesting topic. We might discuss that in future shows. What players got support from their football teams? Because we know Nico got a little agreement with Racing de Avellaneda. We know in Italy there is a Lazio FootGolf, a Roma FootGolf. This guy in Brazil, Anderson, contact with Corinthians. I think it's a very interesting topic, to see how football clubs got involved with FootGolf.
Yeah, I know the number of the apartment for David Beckham. So after the whole quarantine is done, I think we can knock him on his door and be like, yo, Inter Miami and Miami FGC must join. And just saying, maybe you should try playing with us. I think he could do good, especially with the tee off and the approaches. But who knows? All right, let's move on. We only have studied like the Jabulani and the Jabulani. We're still in the Jabulani world realm. Now let's move to the popular orange Portugal Sagres. You remember, Piero, this is the actual second ball that we bought together for the modest price of $160, and it was from Portugal. The guy was telling me, I have 10. If you buy more, I'll drop the price down. If you buy all of them, I'll give you all of them for $100. I'm like, are you insane? I'm not going to pay $1,000 for 10 balls. Well, I'll be a freaking millionaire right now if we would have purchased that deal. They're going out for $350, $400. It's
especially the Sagres, Mariano, because I think it's one of the quickest balls. Everybody who plays with it love it. And this ball has something special. I think all orange balls, all orange Jabulani, Sagres, Team Case, they look faster. I don't know if it's because of the color, but Mario always is ahead of us when he plays with that ball, and he doesn't really hit it harder than us. So
he might say it's his technique. But let's I have a theory at first when I thought, okay, what are orange balls for? Okay, it's for winter, so they must be done in a different shape or form just to withstand the actual weather. But no, that's nothing. It's just the color. Excuse me. It's just the color to see it in the actual snow. It's not that it's made out of an extra material. But what I do think, and that's a personal theory, of course, Piero, and I mentioned it to you, is the visual of it. you can the ball might look even like bigger to your eye. Everybody that plays soccer all their life, they're used to see white balls with some patterns, but not kicking an orange object. So it's just different. Like you can let's see in comparison. Like, are they any different in size? No. Are they different in any shape? No. Why does it roll more? I don't know.
The paint, the orange paint. That's what some people say.
Is the orange paint? Sure. Let's leave it like that. But there's one person, Piero, and we have to. I'm gonna put it. I'm not gonna say who this picture is from, but he has to be the king of Sagres. He has six.
Let's see people know. Let's see people know who this guy is because
just a random silver bullet in the middle. We'll talk about the silver bullet because that falls in the realm of magic balls. But if you know who this ball is, no? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So as you can see, the one
remember, it takes a little while until we see the comments, but I'm pretty sure people know what.
I'm with no patience today, Pierre.
I know. I see. No, it's okay. It's okay, Mariano. We can continue with the show. Pavan, Eduvice, correct. Marco Pavan.
So
from Italy is the owner of six Sagres.
Ridiculous. So the silver jab is our next one. This is probably the one that everybody says that is the one
it's the
that
silver
runs.
And MLS.
Yes, it's the MLS, correct. It's the Jabulani MLS in their silver version and in its white, green, and blue version. We saw players like Paul Oliver play with this ball, and we saw players like Fabián Ayala in the World Cup playing with balls like this. This one, people say that literally that it flies forever. I never played with anybody with no. I never played with this ball. I only played with one guy that played with this ball.
I'm gonna tell you 3 players who love this ball. The 3 of them were top players. First of all was Paul Oliver. He finished well. I think he didn't play with that ball in the World Cup, but that was the ball he used to use.
We'll see that later.
And then Michael Wilkes as well in the Netherlands. He played with this ball, and obviously the guy that comes to our mind when we think about the silver Jabulani is the mouse Ayala, el ratón, Fabián Ayala.
The mouse Ayala. I love how you call it the mouse.
The mouse Ayala. Yeah, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. We did a live on Instagram, and he told me, man, when I saw that ball, I fall in love. And because he has obviously a lot of money, I don't know how many he bought, but he loved this ball. And with this ball, Mariano, he finished 3rd in the World Cup, which is incredible for a guy who's been playing for just a couple of years.
Yeah. No credit to Fabián Ayala. All the credit goes to the ball. That's probably the reason why he got a 3rd place.
Correct. And this is him in hole 17 when he was right about making this historic 3rd place in Marrakesh.
Yeah, we already saw that. So let's move on to.
We saw that?
Yeah. Like I said, I have no patience today, Pierre.
Okay. No problem.
Let's move to the next ball. To me, this is probably the most beautiful Jabulani out there. The most beautiful Jabulani, and that is the Angola Jabulani. I think this was only made for the. Whoa! I'm just seeing somebody that got run over a car. I'm sorry for that. A ball ran over a car, or a dog got it. But I think this was for the Copa Africa, correct?
It was for the Africa Cup in Angola, and it's funny because we saw that before that Nyako, the guy who brought the Spitzel into FootGolf, he said that when he arrived to this Capital Cup in 2014, Julian Kelkel was playing with this ball. So Julian Kelkel was the guy who introduced, I guess, this ball into FootGolf. And Mario Esposito, the guy from Sorrento in Italy, he was one of the most famous players to use it. He won the UK Open with this ball, he got one of the most incredible shots, which in a long time.
But just look it over there. I mean, look it to your. I think it's to your right, not to your left. Sorry, the B-roll is on your left. I've been telling you this for 8 shows already.
Bravissimo.
Okay, nice shot. Wow.
Bravo.
Honestly, I think he plays this a lot, and he just knew to drop the ball there. I mean, Marco, come on, don't be like that. Don't be saying that you read the line properly. It's just the remote control in the Angola. You were like, tick, 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 tick. You remember what? I remember the first time that we saw the Spitzels and the jabs, that they kept rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. You're like, are you doing that with a remote control? What are you doing there? Insane, insane. And this is one of the most expensive balls, again, because it's a beautiful one.
It is. We paid 500 for one of them, and then we use it on a raffle to try to get funds to travel to Europe.
Yeah.
So we had it new, but we have to give it away. Like we're gonna do with this hat. Remember, share the show, and you can win this amazing hat. And I think, Mariano, we are done with the Jabulani for now. And before we move into the Spitzel, now it's Spitzel turn. This is the question we have for you. Do you think the Spitzel and the Jabulani is the same ball? Some people say they're not. Some other are convinced there's no difference whatsoever.
Should I create another poll to see if they're the same ball or not? Let's see what the people have to say instead of the comments.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you type the question and send it to me? Because if I type things, I just might be scared to send out something random.
Sure. Go. You can go ahead.
The question that we're gonna put on the poll right now is either the Jabulani and the Spitzel are the same ball or not. That's the question that we're gonna throw out in a few moments. And it looks like the no answer, it's still winning. The no to a unique ball in FootGolf is winning.
This is winning by a lot?
I can't see the numbers anymore, unfortunately. But it was 42 to 38. No, that can't be right. 42 to 38. No, that's not right. I'm very bad at math. Sorry.
But Mariano, we're gonna tell everybody right now the answer if Jabulani and Spitzel are the same ball, because we got the answer.
Oh,
we know if they're the same ball or not.
Interesting.
But
I did not know we had this information.
Maybe people don't believe to the guy who is gonna tell us they are the same ball.
Sorry?
That maybe people don't credit to the guy who's gonna tell us, so they keep thinking they're different balls. For example, before we hear this testimony about Spitzel and Jab being the same ball, Matias Perrone, the world champion, he plays with the Jabulani. One day his jab, I don't know, something happened to it, and he had to play with this ball with the Europa League, and he struggled. He was telling me, man, it was so difficult. It was so different. When I hit it that way, it really took me a while to get used to it. And I was like, how is that possible if it's supposed to be the same ball as this one? Well, for Mati, it's not the same ball. But for Nick Iron, it is the same ball, and he has a reason to believe it. Listen to what he has to say.
I have it on good authority from football collectors that live in Germany that have access to the factories. They're all the same balls. They're just a different colour, different design for different leagues around the world. And that's it. So yeah, people saying this one rolls more than this one swerves more. No, they're the same ball. All that's in your head. So just get back to the game, get the ball, put it in the hole. Easy game. Stay safe.
All right, so that was Nick Iron. A lot of theories, a lot of thoughts. Just hear him out. Hear him out, because the Spitzel, it's probably, if not the most popular ball in FootGolf. It's the one that I use. I inherited from my good friend Piero Menor. I repair it, and we can talk about repairing the ball, the Spitzel. Susie Berg, we saw it moments ago with all the cacti from Tenerife destroying that ball. Something similar to what happened to you. But the Spitzel, it's probably, it was at a point, it was the most expensive ball, but it wasn't winning tournaments. And that was the crazy thing about it. Everybody was like, Spitzel, Spitzel, Spitzel. But nobody was winning with Spitzels. That's the curious part of it. But there's one person that I think he won one or two tournaments, and I think he has the bragging rights to talk about or give a review of the Spitzel. So we made a few years back we talked to Cristian Otero, the 2016 Argentinian world champion, and he shared his thoughts on the Spitzel. Here it is.
Cristian, you're well known for playing with the Spitzel. Why did you choose that ball?
Well, I chose that ball because it's much quicker than the rest. Despite maybe it's not a 100% loyal ball, because it betrays you sometimes when you kick, how do you say, very strong in the middle of the ball. But if you make a balance between what you prefer, if you win distance and maybe 10-15 meters in each stroke and maybe lose a little of precision, that's why I choose this one.
Do you think there's any difference between the Spitzel and the Jabulani?
I think a Spitzel is a little bit more loyal than the Jabulani. I think Jabulani flies and maybe it's more unstable than the Spitzel.
How many Spitzels do you have?
Around 13, 14. No price, no, I don't sell it for no price.
And that was Cristian Otero. We're going to talk about him later in the show, because at the end of the show, we're going to look to alternative balls or hidden gems. I remember he was looking to create one, and you can share our thoughts. Okay, so the Spitzel. The Spitzel is not the only one. The green and regular Spitzel. There are many, many Spitzels, like the Power Orange, which is a tough one to get, and probably the one that it's most expensive because it's an orange Spitzel. So it probably goes faster. I mean, according to people, this has to be the fastest ball in the world because it's a Spitzel and orange. But a very hard one to find nonetheless, and a beautiful ball as well. But Piero, why don't you talk about another Spitzel? Our favorite, well, it was, to me, it was my favorite Spitzel until I got my Spitzel.
Well, here, for example, Mariano, the AFA Spitzel, this is apparently the first Spitzel to ever step into a FootGolf green. But this ball, there is also a lot of theories about this ball. For example, Italians love this ball. We know by some Argentinian friends that when they go to Italy, everybody wants to buy their ball. How much you want for it? It's like, I don't know if it's because of the colors or that brotherhood between Argentina and Italy. But everybody loved that ball. And also one of the legends about this ball, they say, Nick, please don't laugh, they say it's the slowest Spitzel out there, the AFA Spitzel.
Oh.
Who knows if that's true? But that's what I heard. I don't know if anybody has any ideas about that, but
I remember that I wanted to buy this ball just because it's an AFA, and my home country, well, my birth country is Argentina, and I always love the colors and the logo of AFA and everything. But I could never find a new one for an average quote unquote $350 being average price, right? This one is.
But just think, Mariano, how many FootGolf players in Argentina, and they probably bought them all.
Yeah, I wonder where are all the Spitzels from the different leagues, all the Jabulanis, because I remember seeing a video in Colombia of a helicopter going down with like 200 Jabulanis. I'm like, where are all those balls? But AFA Spitzel is probably one of the most difficult ones to find. But Piero?
Correct. Yes, and another one really, really, really difficult to find, Mariano, because it was made for a small tournament like the Under 21 Denmark European. It's the well-known as Denmark Under 21 Spitzel, which is also very, very good looking, very rare to see. You get to see it, but it's not that common. Also, another expensive Spitzel, supply and demand. Once again, not many out there. People love to have different Spitzel, and this one, as we said, is not that common. And players using this ball, I remember, I think it was Paul Oliver who used that ball in the World Cup of Argentina 2016. He finished fourth. And I don't remember more players using this ball. I don't know if you guys can help us out. Who is famous for
There's a few players. I know Cedric Bonot. He plays with this ball, but he basically has every freaking ball. I was going to say, we start to see all these videos, all these compilations of photos, and I'm starting to see a few of the guys that are in every single picture with different balls. Julian Babel, how many balls do you have? You see what I'm talking about? Either Julian Babel has to let go some of their Spitzel with Nico Caillet and Bonnot. They have way too many. I have 2 repaired Spitzels. I just changed both of them for one just in good conditions. But there's one that you jumped over, Piero, and it's the last Spitzel, well, with Spitzel name, because the last one we're going to talk about doesn't have the Spitzel name, has a different name. But how about the Europa League? The one and only Europa League.
I forgot about my ball.
How you forgot about your favorite ball, man? It's a funny story. After you saw me playing so well with this ball, you were like, how the fuck is Mariana playing so good? It's probably the ball. And you changed to the Europa League, and you were never the same player ever again. I think that was the key to your growth in FootGolf. It's just actually seeing me playing well. You were like, it has to be the ball.
No, but Mariano, I think now that we're talking about balls, I don't think it really matters if you have obviously a decent ball that can roll and everything. If I would start playing with the Terra Pass and I would get used to the Terra Pass, I would probably right now be loving and speaking marvelous things about Terra Pass. I started playing with the Jabulani and Spitzel. I learned how to control these balls. Yeah. And for me now, they are the balls that I want because I got to play with them so much that I learned their behaviors. And for me, Jabulanis or Spitzel are not crazy. They never go to the way I don't want. They always do what I want them to do, and that's some of the criticisms.
Yeah,
so
that is hard
I
for
believe
players to do.
You can dominate every ball out there if you just practice and check what the ball does when you do.
I honestly thought that once you try the Adipure, which we'll talk about that later, I thought that was going to be your ball because you have so good control of your foot. Like you literally say, like you know what the ball wants to do, and I thought that was something that was going to stand out for you, but no, you stick to that ball and nothing really changed.
And it's actually one of the easiest one to find. Since I play, I got one in Spain, then I found another one here, and I don't know, it's pretty common. I think since the Europa League is such a big competition, they probably gave one of these to every club. So there is probably a bunch of them still hidden out there.
I still wonder where they are.
Hopefully, I will find it. It's the Jordan Godfrey ball as well. He was the first one that I saw playing. So credits to him as well.
I remember seeing him playing with that ball, and I thought like, what is that? It's so different. I thought that it was a completely different ball other than a Spitzel. And like you say, Mati plays with Jabulani, and then changing to a Spitzel, it felt like super weird. I literally did the same thing. I went from the Jabulani to the Europa League, and it was the opposite direction. I felt, like you said, like I could control the Europa League much more than the actual Jabulani. But anyways, let's talk about the
Let's go to German. Let's move into German.
Yes.
I saw some comments of the people speaking about the turf fabric. Did you talk about the pressure of the ball? Tabet, I think that's going to be a whole new topic.
Yes,
we're focusing
going to make a show about pressure.
We'll speak about pressure. Our pressure for now is to finish the show, but we'll speak about that. I can say I play with 8.5 psi. That's what I use to any ball. I play with a Spitzel, but I don't know. Some people like to play with very very light balls. Some others put like 10, 11. Like I think Cedric Bonnot is one of them. Not sure, but yeah, it's another topic. We'll discuss that in the future. If you want PSI world, we'll touch you in the future.
But the
for now,
the Tor Fabric, let's say it. It's a Spitzel just made specifically for the Bundesliga with Bundesliga branding. Tor Fabric means celebration, or Jabulani means celebration, and then they changed Tor Fabric to match the celebration name in German. Well, I have to check that. Laura Rulli, if you're looking at this, correct me if Tor Fabric means celebration or anything along those lines. I remember working with the Bundesliga, and that was the story that was being told to me. So that was it for the most famous balls in FootGolf. We went through the Jabulanis, we went through the Spitzels, and now let's go back in a few years and let's talk about the team heist.
Nannies. The nannies, the ball nannies of FootGolf, the grandpas.
The grandpas of FootGolf. So, Team Heist. Team Heist 1. Team Heist 1, that was the ball used in the 2006 World Cup in Germany. This ball is the first one to introduce the 14 panel, reducing from the 32 that we usually are used to. And this ball was the first one, or the second one, correct? I think in 2002 there were already some complaints about the ball, but this was the very first World Cup that players started to complain about how the ball reacted once it get out of the feed, the keepers too. I mean, nothing in comparison to the Jabulani and all the complaints that we got throughout the years. But the Adidas Team Heist was a ball that at first I didn't see much, and all of a sudden it was basically everywhere. We got it in Champions League form, we got it in many different forms, different colors, shapes.
It's funny, Mariano, because for example, in my country, in Spain, the Team Haze is probably the most popular ball. I think a lot of players use it, and it's funny, you know, how each country has a favorite ball. Like, for example, we all know in Switzerland, everybody loves the Europass. In Spain, people seems to like the Team Haze, and here in the US, the Jabulanis and Spitzels are top. You know, it's funny how every country, because for example in Spain everybody says that the Jabulani and the Spitzel, they're so uncontrollable, and everybody who use the Team Haze, they say it's way more controllable than the Jabulani. For example, for me, I play with the Team Haze, and for me it's not controllable at all. I like more the Jabulani. So theories are theories. Just don't think your theory is the absolute truth.
How they say in Spanish.
Sorry.
Yeah, bless you. How they say in Spanish. Para gusto, los colores.
Correct.
For I don't know if it translate, but it's for your liking, colors.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if it translate too well, but anyway. So, Team Guys 1, it's here to stay, and not only that one, but also the Team Guys didn't think they got it right on the first run. Yeah, exactly, and they got the Team Guys number 2. This is an older ball. Actually, a few balls went along before this one coming to life.
I think that pink and white is so beautiful, man. That's one of the coolest balls out there. All the Team Haze too, I think they're pretty cool. The design, I like it, and it always brings the colors of the league, the MLS, the AFA. It's important to know that Adidas have a contract with certain leagues, not the Spanish league, for example, but since the Spanish Cup belongs to the Spanish Federation, who has a contract with Adidas, not La Liga, which is a different company, but the Spanish Federation. In 2011, we had a Spitzel just for the Copa del Rey. Meanwhile, the La Liga was playing with Nike. So that's why the Team Haze 2 was done in the countries where Adidas has a contract with their leagues. Argentina is an example. The MLS is another example. And also, I think that pink and black one was regular. I don't think it's from any league. I'm not very familiar with Team Haze 2.
The one, well, again, Cedric Monod, he has many balls, but I think I've seen him play the most with this one in particular, and he can handle it pretty well. Ultimately, it's just, it comes down to your liking. Like everybody's saying, like, should we have a unique ball? No, because everybody has different techniques, different way of striking the ball, and everybody can like their own ball. But again, I'm just going back on having a one ball for the good of everybody. It's not for the greatest for the sport, because for the spectacle, el espectáculo?
Spectacle.
For the spectacle, it's always better to have the best form of ball, in this case being the Spitzel, jabs, whatever. For major competitions, I mean, yes, let's do it. But why Adidas will remake this ball? Why would they?
They won't.
They won't. I know that somebody talked to Adidas about bringing this ball back, and they say, look, we can produce 1 million balls. If you guarantee me that the ball is going to circulate around the world, that we can produce 1 million, we'll do it. Can they do it? I don't think so. We know somebody else that contacted the actual factory that created the Spitzel, but we'll talk about that later at the end of the show, because there's actually somebody that can make the Spitzel. But again, let's talk about that later. Now let's go to the Adipure, the infamous Adipure. This ball,
which is another, it's another Team Hayes too, Mariano.
Yes.
Exactly. It's the same model, just different colors. It's as we said on the posting, it's like a tuxedo converted into a soccer ball. It's really elegant, simple. I love the design, and I love the players who use it. This ball is also very rare, not that common, and 2 top players use it. I actually have one here with me, not the 2 top players. I have the ball, and I bought this one actually for $50 because it was a little damaged.
Hold on, because we're seeing the most famous player of Adipure that in my opinion is your lost brother, your lost twin, David Mancino. David Mancino is the first person that we saw, and he gave a very technical explanation on why he loved this ball so much. We can talk to him some other day. And another player is Matthew Morgan, which all of a sudden fell in love with this ball like big time. So I gotta say, there has to be something special about the ball, because if not...
Not really. I play with it. For me, there's nothing special. I feel, for example, since I play with the Spitzel, when I play with this ball, I feel the ball goes so high, you know. I have this control shot with the Spitzel where I can, you know, like hit it hard, but don't make the ball goes too high. That same shot with this ball, boom, my ball ends up in the trees. So again, you have to readapt. I'm already used to the Spitzel. I'm not saying the Spitzel is better than this one. I'm just saying you get used to one ball and then it's hard to change. This is also why it's interesting if the FIFG someday got a contract with a big brand and they decide to accept the fact that everybody's going to play with that ball, same ball. Yeah. How long do you think it will take you to adapt your game to a new ball? That's also a good question, because maybe someday you will have to play one certain tournament with a certain type of ball if you want to play $20,000 cash price purse. So
that could be a special, just like in, again, I always go back to other sports that have similar references, but again, many people are going to have different opinions, and this is mine. So just like we have Wimbledon that is clay, and then you have Roland Garros, which is clay, and then you have Wimbledon that is grass. Of course, grass is going to be grass everywhere for foot golf, but who knows? Maybe you go to the major in Mexico, and Mexico had a contract with Volta, and Mexico agrees with somebody in the FIFG, and they agree like, okay, this major is going to be played with this ball, so players are going to have the practice round to practice with this ball, and if they want to practice before, they can purchase it from our association and we'll ship it. Of course, I'm just throwing ideas.
Sure, and
I don't know how hard it is to make that, or how much time it will take for the logistic, but I think it's interesting because that makes everybody even. That makes everybody play with the same ball, no excuses. The only excuse is if there's tee times and the weather changes during the day. That will be the only way, because then you can choose your PSI, you can choose to get it with the left or the right. There's not many options really. There's some people that actually we're talking about putting nitrogen on the balls, and for those who don't know, that's in the rule book. It's forbidden to put nitrogen on your ball. Just if you were thinking of taking an advantage on that ball flying further away. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. We're getting
we're nearly done, guys. Hold on, we only have a couple more balls to show you, and then we're gonna move into the hardest ones to find. This is getting a little long. Stick with us. The Europass, Mariano, you play with this ball.
I love it.
This is another. Yes.
Yeah, I have it right here. The Europass.
Okay, I said the Europass, the 2008 Euro Championship ball in Austria and Switzerland, where Spain won with a Fernando Torres goal. And this ball is very common in, especially in Europe, and especially as well in technical courses, because it's a little slower than the Spitzel and also a little heavier. So what I felt about this ball, after 2-3 rounds, you feel your leg a little bit more tired if you are used to play with the Spitzel, because it's a little heavier. So if you put a little bit more weight in every kick you do, obviously your leg gets a little bit more tired. That was my perspective. If the course is very long and very fast, you better, I mean, in very slow, you better play with the Spitzel. Some players learn to play with the Spitzel and the Europass, so depending the speed of the course, they would change from one to another. But another great ball, the Europass, a little cheaper as well compared to the Spitzel. It's like around $200. You can get one brand new, $250 maybe. And as some people say, it's a very, very good ball to control.
Yeah.
Leo Jacot, I think, is the player who has been playing with this ball since the beginning.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's always very happy about the behavior of the Europass. So
yeah,
good.
I like the roll. I like the true hit. But of course, like you said, it's a bit heavier. It rolls a little bit short. So I don't have great technique. So I was literally falling short to everyone that was playing with a Spitzel or a jab, which I would usually like tee off further with that ball. And yes, I was putting great. I was playing my short game was great. But then when I went to a tournament and the course was longer, my approach or putting didn't work because I was so far away from everybody else after 2 kicks or not. And that's when I decided to switch back. But this is a lovely ball for Europeans because like in courses like France where you're playing with fringes, that you want that grip in the green for the ball to stick a little bit more. I think that's a very good reason why they use it. And top players love to play with it. They won competitions with it. So it's not that this ball is not a baller's game. But let's move to a similar one, if not the same ball, because I think the TerraPass, I think it's the one that we're gonna see right now. It's basically the same. I don't see. I mean, it just have different colors and shapes.
One of the players who let us know what's the difference between the Europass and the TerraPass, it's Claire Williams, the UK female champion, and she said that they seem slightly, I mean, the TerraPass seems slightly bigger, but it's pretty much the same roll and curve as the Europass. So again, this is like difference between Spitzel and Jabulani, probably the same between the TerraPass and the Europass, and same with the Team Heist 1 and 2. It seems like Adidas always makes 2 balls. They make us believe it's the same, so they keep selling them.
Yeah.
But apparently they are the same ball with a different, I don't know, material or like.
I'm telling you, Piero, every time that we start a new carousel of photos of a specific ball, the one and only Julian Babel from Switzerland shows with a smiley face and a different ball in his hand. So I don't know if he went through every single ball and he just was swapping, or if he literally has every ball in the world that FootGolf.
He's really good. He's really good with Photoshop. He's probably none of them.
He's just doing like a Photoshop with the ball. But that was the first part, guys. We went through the Spitzels, we went through the Jabulanis, the Europass, Europa League, all the ones that are the most popular ones. But let's make a pause because I can't even speak of how much we spoke. So
incredible.
I don't know if any one of you remember, but we are still due to see the second part of our celebrity match play. Let's see how our president take this challenge on.
Welcome to the last hole. El Chapo saying hi to his cartel friends. And remember, this is gonna be a part 3 who's gonna define who the winner is.
Chapo Guzman in the tee off, over the water. Great shot by Chapo Guzman. Gonna go in. Only one. Very important.
Donald Trump left foot.
Again with the left. What a conservative shot. I'm surprised he didn't hire Mexicans for that. His instinct to play to the right may cost him the championship. People are excited. Donald Trump for the par. Long putt. Oh, unfortunate shot for Donald Trump. Wait a second. It's in! Amazing.
We are going to start winning big league.
Cállate, güerito.
I don't know what Donald Trump celebrated. He didn't win that.
Chapo is taking his time.
It's a critical shot.
Right foot. If he scores, he wins. And he got it. The moment he's been waiting for. He's the champion. And thank God,
Donald Trump is defeated on his knees. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump will give him the green card after this win.
Wait a second. Donald Trump looks happy.
I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words.
He called migration? Run, Chapo.
You're looking at him. El Chapo Guzman is our new champion.
And that was the conclusion of the celebrities matchup. And of course, we couldn't let El Chapo win. And it was all a setup just to capture El Chapo Guzman. Donald Trump and United States won at the end, even though the result might say otherwise. So congratulations, USA, USA. It was just a setup, you know, like we had to capture El Chapo, and that was the one way to do it through FootGolf, and we're happy for that. So Piero, let's go to the hidden gems right now. We're going to talk about the balls that are really, really ridiculously hard to find. One of them is the Emperor's Jabulani or Spitzel. I don't even know what this ball is. I think it's a Spitzel.
It's hard to tell. We were asking the owners about if it's a Jabulani or a Spitzel. Nobody really knows. If anybody knows the final answer about the Emperor, yeah, what a ball, Mariano. I actually bet $20 on a raffle that our friend Andrea is doing in Italy.
Oh, the Episcopal. I saw it.
Yeah, to see if I can win the Emperor. He's making a raffle for $800. That's the total money he's gonna get. So that can tell you how many people really want this ball. It was used in Japan for the Emperor's Cup 2010, I believe. So that would make the ball a Jabulani, but I'm not 100% sure it's a jab. But yes, Mariano, that's one of the hardest ones to get for sure.
I wouldn't know that either. It's funny, raffles. I think you won a raffle, right? About you're still waiting for your Torfabric?
Yes, I'm still waiting for my Torfabric. It's somewhere in England. I even forget the guy's name, but if you're watching this, you owe me a Torfabric, and I'm waiting for it, okay?
Nah, but we understand the current situation, and I'm pretty sure that you're patient enough to receive it whenever you can, and that's the truth. So let's move to the next one. I never saw this one in person. The pink Jabulani. To me, it's a myth. To me, it doesn't exist.
I haven't seen anybody competing with this ball. I know I've seen this ball in Japan or in China.
Yeah.
I don't know who really has this ball, but I think it's the girl's dream for the pink. Some guys as well love pink.
I would love to play with this one. Yeah.
But it's one of a time. I think.
But it's always MLS. MLS, the silver one, the MLS white one, now the pink one, and not only the pink one, but watch out. Let me see if I have it. The purple one. There's a purple Jabulani or purple, red, I don't know, but it's another MLS ball that I again never saw. I don't know if this is a fake or this is just Photoshop, a special board for whatever. But if you know the where this ball is, just send us a photo of yourself with this one, because this is a very unique Spitzel and it's nowhere to be found. But enough of Jabulani, special Spitzels, Emperor, whatever. Let's go to the people, the underdogs, those balls that are made for quote unquote beginner foot golfers. Is just cheaper balls. So anything from the Cafusa from Brazil, the Brazuca, also balls from 2012, 13, 14, which are still very, very good balls for foot golf, but not top. So if you're starting to play foot golf, just like I don't have it with me, but I remember my first transition before buying a Jabulani was buying the latest, the Canada 2015 World Cup or 16. That was my first like real leather ball. I remember when I first started playing, Marcelo Landau saying, "You have to buy a leather ball. You have no idea how important it is." I'm like, this guy's insane. Leather balls. Skip 2 years. I'm an expert at knowledge of foot golf balls and everything. So the underdogs. Who has those balls? The underdogs. So
not many people. One of the underdogs, Mariano, we said that in the show, made third place in the Argentina World Cup. Jan Kosak was with
that's true.
With the 2012 Tango. It was a long course.
Yeah.
It was quick. So here the Spitzels were beaten. I mean, a lot of 200 Spitzels, Jabulanis, Europass were beaten by a Tango. So once again, you're good enough, you can really play with any ball. Maybe for a 4-day tournament or a long course, it's going to make a difference. But if you feel you're good, keep playing with your ball. Don't let Spitzels...
don't let them fool you. There's no need. And there's another one. This one was actually banned from a tournament. Like, the reason, still unknown, but the McGregor.
Well, I think the reason... Yeah, the reason is the weight. It's a very, very light ball, and also it's not FIFA approved. The Mexicans were the ones who started playing with this ball. And Mariano, it's amazing. This ball can reach as much as the Jabulani or even more. It's called the McGregor. It's like $12.
Yeah.
How much is it?
$15.
$15.
It's
on
funny
Walmart?
because it says waterproof. Just in case. It says waterproof. So that tells you how serious this ball is. But I remember a good friend from Mexico, well, Brazil. His name slipped my mind right now.
Yeah, his name is Aguinaldo.
Aguinaldo, thank you so much. Aguinaldo was the one that introduced this ball or found it in Mexico. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was playing the Mexican tour with this ball, like getting huge distance. Obviously, with the putting, it's a little difficult, but he brought it to the U.S. Open in Oxnard, California, and the organization said, no, you can't play with this ball. So he had to stick to FIFA-approved balls. And Mariano, this is something everybody has to know. To play a tournament right now, a World Tour tournament, any like decent tournament, serious tournament, well organized, your ball must be FIFA approved. That's all you need for your ball to be admitted on a tournament. This is something that we don't know if the next ball we're gonna speak about it's doing. I don't know if this is a FIFA approved ball. We're talking about the new Joma, however you call it in your country, Joma ultralight ball. This ball was released a couple of weeks ago. We saw this, well, somebody sent us this from Spain, but this ball is supposed to weigh in between 310 grams, the ultralight, and 360 the regular ball. This is, for people to know, 60 grams lighter than the Jabulani.
Yeah.
So,
but I noticed one thing. It has 32 panels. And having 32 panels is going back in time. So I'm curious to see how this ball will perform. I'm telling you, just out of the bat is not gonna roll as further as a Jabulani. It's not gonna fly as much, and it's going to not feel lighter, because once you kick it, it depends on the pressure that you put, because that means lower pressure, more amount of time that the ball is going to be in your feet. Higher pressure, the less time the ball is going to be in your feet and go faster away from you. So lighter ball with a lot of pressure, danger, danger, stranger danger. So we'll see. If you bought this ball and you're trying it out, send us your review. But Piero, there's some people that actually try to make balls for FootGolf. We mentioned it before. Christian Otero, the world champion, he tried to create a ball specifically for FootGolf, right? I think
yes, he did.
You talked to him a bit more about it.
Yeah, he was supposed to send a video. He never did. He's a very busy man. But yeah, I remember when I met Christian actually 5 years ago. I met him in the Inter-Americans Pro-Am here in Miami, and he told me that he actually showed me the ball that they were talking to a laboratory somewhere, and they were like copying the aerodynamics of the Spitzel, but for some reason they quit, and that ball was never released.
I think I know the reason, and I think I now I remember talking to Christian. At the moment that Christian was trying to do, Argentina was under a strict no importation thing. So he was trying to bring the materials from outside to build it, and he was having trouble bringing the things in. So I think that's when he said, okay, I'm going to quit. I'm going to start making ice creams. And I think he made the right choice. But he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one trying to make a ball, Piero, right?
No. We actually tried one great ball, maybe not as good as the Jabulanis or Spitzel, but it was a good try by our friends from Jake Quintos here in the Jake Quintos in the U.S. They sent us the ball for free so we can try it, and the idea was good. It was a little
I honestly liked it. I like the feel, the touch. So it feels like a soccer football ball, however you want to call it. Sorry that I keep saying soccer. We live in the United States ultimately, and we've been calling it like that in English. So we apologize for being disrespectful to football. Jake Quintos, it really feels and looks like a giant golf ball. I have to say, it feels like a giant golf ball. Again, you're 5-10 yards behind every Spitzel or more, but in the putting, it was a true roll. It was great. One thing that we haven't mentioned is about the roll. Is that something that the one and only Paul Oliver explained to me during the World Cup, that there are only a few balls that are true round. What does it mean? That if you put it on a hard surface, basically the ball doesn't move. That means that the balance is perfect. So if you see your ball wobble a little bit, that means that it's not perfectly round. And there's, according to him, only a few balls in the world, and he's the owner of a MLS and Denmark perfectly rounded ball. So I did not know that was a thing. Very interesting.
Sure.
But
definitely. And we're moving on. The last story of the day, guys, after nearly 2 hours. We're getting to the end. Before we tell you about this, we're going to speak about the Chinese Spitzel. This is a very interesting topic you don't want to miss. But first of all, guys, for us, it's very important that you guys like this live stream. I know some of you are just watching, but you never hit the like button or make comments. So if you can just say hi in the comments for us, the more comments and the more likes, it's good for our algorithm, and Facebook will show our content to many people. So that will be good for FootGolf, for us, and for everybody. So please just say hi, write a comment before you leave, and hit the like button. Before we tell you about the Chinese Spitzels, Mariano, this is like a science fiction story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
We are ready. We're showing the proofs. So Daniel Romero from Argentina contacted the factory that manufactured the Spitzel. I know it's very hard to read and it's in Spanish, but it's a conversation in between Danny Romero and the factory that manufactured the ball. They said that they could do it. They could manufacture the replica, not the replica like we're seeing, which is showing example of a stitched ball, which we all know the Spitzel is a thermal bounded ball, so there's no stitching. So we know that that's not a true Spitzel. But he said this is just, an example, and he said that he could produce for $7 each ball. $7, Piero. $7 per Spitzel. But
we are actually seeing the conversation between Danny and this Chinese guy, and obviously Danny wanted to see one before producing 2,000, and the guy said no, you gotta go all the way or nothing.
The minimum I can produce, like in order to produce the pattern, because like somebody said to us before, they had to rebuild the patterns, the materials and everything, so they had to go back in time. And they say, okay, we'll do it, but for a minimum of 10,000. So that's a very good question. Okay, $7 sounds like a very cheap Spitzel, but do you have $700,000 or $70,000 like just later on?
And then what happens if it doesn't work? Because the Spitzel was done with certain type of materials, like having the same factory. It doesn't grant you to have the same exact ball, And if you're gonna spend so much money thinking that you're gonna be rich because you're gonna pay $8-10 for a ball, and then everybody's gonna buy it for what, 100?
No.
Maybe those balls, they get dissolved when it rains.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So have it in mind. The manufacturer of the Spitzel said that they can produce only if they do 10,000 and up. Adidas is telling us 1 million. Okay, how long will these balls last, guys? How long? So we have to look for an alternative. Either it's whatever, a unique ball or newer balls, but we have to stay away from the past. And that's my personal view. I know it's not the popular vote because I'm gonna show the results of the voting poll. I'm showing them right now. I don't know how it looks, but I'm showing the results right now. 75% of the foot golfers that voted say no to a unique football. No. So no, Piero. All this program was in vain.
Well, and I think it's interesting. And as we said before, Mariano, I think this is a great show for organizers, for players, for everybody to test a little bit what people think, And it's good that people say no because people have an opinion, and the sport it's still growing, and it's so important to listen to what people has to say. And this is one of the main reasons also we're doing this. We want to entertain, but we also want to discuss a lot of things that need to be discussed. We did that with women, which is a topic that we believe is necessary to talk about because women needs exposure and they need to feel important inside the sport. And today we're speaking about balls, and also it's a topic that it will be probably discussed in the future years since the sport will become more and more professional. Where are we heading into this conversation, So we need to talk these things.
Yes, for sure. But before we conclude, we're going to close it up at 7. Let's just hit the 2 hours. Why not? Let's say thank you so much for everybody that watched the show, that shared and comment. Remember, we're raffling this Friday like usual. This time it's my turn to go on the Instagram Live. I might do it by myself solo, so have fun on that. Raffling the FootGolfos hat that, remember, we're going to give to you personally once we meet you in time. Right now it's very difficult to us to ship things around the world, so if you're patient, just wait for it. It's gonna be worth it. So first of all, I want to say a special hi, Piero, to not to my friend, but to our very good friend Brian Fulling from Foley, Alabama. I love that guy. He always he always shares and make comments, and I wanted to thank him as well as Nick for participating, Bjorn Bulk, Edu Vicerne for always being there for us and commenting, sharing. Julian Perrone, thank you so much for commenting and sharing the video with us. Everybody from Elre, Uguru, everybody, Osan, Cesan. I love seeing new names in the comment section. That's what I want to see most. New names that I have no idea who they are, because I know you, Cedric Bonot. I know you, Edu. I'm not saying stop commenting. I love your comments though, but I wanna see new names in the comment section, and again in our fan base. Follow us, like us. If all of you guys that are watching this right now just share it with one friend and invite one friend to like FootGolfos, we automatically duplicate the amount of followers that we have and gives more exposure to you and the sport. So again, thank you for all of us who joined us today. We're gonna be looking probably to one of our few last shows of the season, because June is going to be a bit eclectic for myself, work-related issues, but we're gonna try to keep doing something. We have to reshape and rethink the way we do things. For the moment, we're very happy that FootGolf is back in many countries around the world. Hopefully we can see each other in the fairways again soon. And Piero, take away the outro from here.
Thanks for watching, guys. I can't believe you guys stick around for 2 hours listening to us. Not even our wives spend so much time paying attention to what we say. So thank you so much. And remember, the ball is not gonna make you a better player. It's all about you. Just pick one ball, find a cheap one to start with, then you can move into one of these ones. But don't try to get the most fancy more, because all of them are pretty much the same. Get a second-hand ball. Don't spend too much, and just keep playing, keep improving, keep loving the game, and keep sharing your love, because it's all about sharing at this point of the sport. Like we always say, it's not what FootGolf is going to do for you. It's all about what you are going to give to FootGolf to help grow the sport. Thank you, and see you next week for the last show of the season before we take a little break to reconsider and get some strength, because this is very tiring to do the show, so we need a little break as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. Share the show, comment, and all that shit. Ciao.